Now we come to the portion of the class that I like to call the Shamanic Life. And we talk about shamanism, a little bit of modern shamanism. Shamanism being the path of the heart. The shaman is the one who follows the heart. The shamans have traditionally been for thousands, tens of thousands of years, have been the healers, have been the community leaders, have been the advisors, the confidants in their communities. And I personally have adopted the path of the shamanic life in my own life, and that's why I want to share this with you, is because it's been such a positive influence on my life. And the main tenets of the shamanic path, the thing that probably resonates with me the most out of all of it, is the idea of reconnecting with nature and the idea of being in connection with the elements of earth, water, fire, and air. Being in connection with the trees. I'm looking out the window. I wish you could see the woods, but I've got 5 acres of woods here and a ton of trees with the rocks, the stones, the animals. All the spirits around us are viewed as allies, and there are all kinds of energies around us that we work with that we can call in allies. So for today's shamanic life, I wanted to talk about this idea came to me a couple weeks ago, actually, before the break. Walking the talk. So today, the shamanic life, walking the talk. So what is walking the talk? You can probably kind of figure it out from the sound of it. It's the idea of letting your actions match your words. And I think it's a little bit tricky right now, given the fact that most of us still locked down and quarantined. How can we put that into play right now? Which, there's not, maybe if you're quarantined on your own, you may not have a lot of opportunity to do that, but you can think about, I think right now is such a great time to go into the essence of ourselves and explore on the inside our inner world while we're kind of shut down from the outer world, and we have this opportunity, this beautiful space that's been created for us, a space of retreat. It allows us to go in and look at who we are, why we're here, and what we're feeling, what we're dealing with on an emotional level. And really tap into the call of the wisdom of the body, the call of the heart, the learning to recognize the sound of our own intuition, giving us a nudge, tapping us on the shoulder. Hey, listen to this. What if you did it a little bit differently this time? And now is our time. We kind of have this blank slate, clean slate, that anything is possible. And so, given that, can we find our authenticity? Can we find our true essence? Can we walk the talk? Can our actions match our words? And to do that, we have to kind of first break down where we're at, who we are, and maybe do a little bit of weeding out. It's kind of like this time is the springtime. It's the time for creating the garden. And to do that, create the garden, create the beds, you have to do the weeding first. And so, like that gardening with ourselves, can we take the opportunity of this springtime, perfect timing, and the spring also correlates to the direction of the east, and the east is the direction of new beginnings. The east is the void. And what is the void? That sounds ominous. Well, the void, it's really not so scary at all. It's just what it sounds like. It's this big open space, empty space, this void in which all things begin, and in which we have the opportunity to create anything we can dream up. And so let's work with the springtime the new beginnings. Let's work with the void, the new beginnings. And let's think about, okay, so we've got this opportunity, we've got this space, we can tap into our essence, our authenticity. Who are we? What are we about? Why are we here? And as we explore that, what's standing in our way? And again, we can call our friend Ganesha in for this one. Removing the obstacles. What is it we want to release in order to make space for the new beginnings, and in order for us to align to that space of the void and create whatever it is that we want to create? So the biggest challenge, I think, to creating in the void and to this time right now, when we have all this opportunity, if we can look at it that way, we've got this opportunity to create our dream life out of this, what might feel like lockdown, what might feel like oppression, what might feel like prison at times, or being grounded. Can we take being grounded and make it a positive thing and be grounded in our foundation and be removing our obstacles while we have the opportunity, while everything is slowed down a little bit? Can we get rid of any incongruent energy that is not us, that is not authentic, that is not part of our essence? Can we allow that to be removed? They call that hucha, that incongruent energy. Can we release that through things like movement and chanting and mantra and going outside for a walk, hiking in the woods, gardening? All these things that have sort of a Zen feel to them allow you to process emotions and to release anything you don't need, to release that incongruent energy, because they get the energy moving. And that's the way we release any incongruent energy, is we come out of that place of being stuck. When the incongruent energy is stuck, that's how it forms. But if we can move the energy again, we can release those blocks, we can release that stuck energy, and we can manifest anything we can imagine. So think about this. We've talked about it before. We've talked about dreaming big. So here's a question. What does your dream life look like? Just keep it simple. Your dream life, anything is possible. So maybe take a moment, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just kind of put it out in your field. The idea of magnetizing your heart and that heart space energy, that magnetic field around the heart, magnetize that to call in your dream life. And it's entirely possible to do that. So what you want to do when you're sending out that message through your heart, because the heart is a powerful communicator, it's a powerful magnet. It'll draw to you whatever you are calling in. And sometimes we don't realize when bad things or lessons or challenging things come in, sometimes those are lessons that we need to learn that we're actually calling in because we need to learn the lesson. But if we could just focus on the dream life, the life of our dreams, on the other side of this whole thing, or we're already in it right now, so let's just start right now and not even think about going beyond COVID. Right here, right now, what is our dream life? What does that look like? Start getting clear on your intentions. We're about a little less than a week away from a new moon. We have a new moon in Gemini coming next week on Friday the 22nd. Oh, we're a week away. Yeah. And it's right about this time. It's in the middle of the afternoon, or the early afternoon. And so with this new moon, we've got the springtime, we've got the east, the direction, and we've got the new moon coming in 1 week. All of those hugely powerful times to plant seeds, to plant new intentions. And as we're calling in our dream life, let's start to imagine what it looks like, so that we know that we're sending out the right signal, the right magnet, and that we're calling in what we really wanted. So think about that. You don't have to decide it all right now. That's a big one. So you can work on that in the next week before we meet again. But just think about that, and think about one of the biggest blocks. I think I was getting to this a moment ago. one of the biggest blocks to creativity, to manifestation, to these new beginnings, this dream life. You know, we've laid the foundation, we've removed the obstacles, we've cleared the path, and yet the one obstacle that might be one of the toughest ones to remove, especially right now, is fear. Fear can come up and it can stop you in your tracks, and sometimes you don't even realize it. I know I had a challenging day myself yesterday, and I went out for the first time and went to the store, and it felt weird, and it felt, you know, just kind of different being out and around. And change can be challenging. Change can definitely trigger our fears inside, and that's okay. You know, as long as we are observant, and as long as we are able to self-observe, self-observation, huge tool, helpful tool for us. Keep relaxing the body, keep observing the self, keep seeing, you know, recognizing when that fear comes up, just allow it and be okay with it, but see it for what it is, and see that fear, that the moment that you decide to let it go, that fear isn't real. It can't really hurt you unless you allow it. So what if you allow the fear, if you look at the fear, if you ask what it's trying to teach you, and then you let it go and ask that maybe it move aside so that you can step into your clarity. You can create that space that was held by the fear that's now clear. And with that freedom, you're magnetizing and you're calling in any dream that you can imagine. That's how the dream life comes in. And so we're going to work a little more with fear over these next coming weeks as well, because I'm playing around with an idea for the Friday morning freestyle for the next several weeks coming up here, about tackling the idea of fear and the 7 dragons. And the 7 dragons are forms of fear, and they are, this is an idea and concept that was created by my teacher, who I've mentioned before, a wonderful man, Dr. Jose Stevens from the Power Path, thepowerpath.com. If you want to check them out a little bit, he's got some articles on there that you can read, some audio that you can listen to. His wife, Elena, is his partner, and also another wonderful teacher, and his daughter, Anna, is a wonderful teacher as well. They're teachers, they're singers, and so there's a lot of great content on there. They also have some music available, some ceremonial music that's just wonderful. But he talks about these 7 dragons, and he's kind of identified kind of the 7 main obstacles that are kind of our 7 main fears that we face in this life. And he actually wrote a full book about it called Transforming Your Dragons, from Dr. Jose Stevens, my teacher. And so we're going to explore these dragons, these fears, in these next few classes over the coming weeks, as we work on weeding out these fears, with the idea that once we can weed out these fears, we have to first identify them, and then we, by self-observation, we recognize how they might be manifesting in ourselves, and by that, that's how we can let them go. And if we dedicate some time to that, he says that if you dedicate a solid year of working with these 7 dragons and weeding them out in your life and letting them go, you can completely transform your life in that short of a time. So we'll be talking about that in the coming weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. It's by releasing these dragons, these obstacles, that we are able to come to a place of neutrality. And we'll talk more about that next week as well, about neutrality, because neutrality is the place where you kind of surrender, trying to control, you surrender, trying to judge, you surrender the concept of good, bad, happy, sad, you know, all of it, all the duality, and you come to a place of neutrality where you stand in the center, in a neutral space, in the don't know mind. And there, you allow the release of the fear, and you allow your life to transform, and you allow those dreams to manifest. All those seeds that you planted Release that fear, make that space, and they're going to bloom. So I'll leave you with that for today. I thank you so much for joining me, and let's go ahead and just dial back into one another one more time. Let's close with a long Satnam together, rubbing the palms together at the center of the chest. Find that comfortable seat, find that connection with the sitting bones, the roots to the earth. Press the palms together firmly, bring the thumbs into the heart center, take a deep breath in, close the eyes, roll them up, inhale to Satnam. Satnam, I am truth. Truth is my essence. May you walk in the light of your truth. And may you release all of the obstacles, all of the fears, that you may create a beautiful, expansive space of freedom in which you can plant the seeds for all your dreams to come true. May you hold that space surrounded by trust and faith and the belief that you are always supported, you are always taken care of, and you always will be. Remember, believe, you are infinite. Take a deep breath into the heart. As you exhale, fold forward at the waist, bring the palms, the forehead, and the heart down to the earth. And then release your breath as you release your prayer. And give thanks to Pachamama, Mother Earth, for her support. Inhale back up. Woo, I'll see you this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern for day 4 of the HUD for Prosperity 40-day meditation. Looking forward to that, and I'll be back again here for Friday Morning Freestyle next week, next Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Until then, Satnam, Aho, and Namaste.